Sir? We'll wait here just a minute. He may be here. He'll be here in a minute. Let yeah.
Good to see you're doing better, Jackie, Mr. Pullen. You're doing better.
Hospital, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Come on, and I've got to do the order that stops it. And I've got to go get him. Well, the main is they're going to do stands.
I was a general and so I used to have plenty of steps. So it's straightforward. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
You said you was I was in
Yeah.
You're better because they didn't have to do
Okay.
I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Y'all want some chairs?
Been sitting all day.
Okay. Okay. Great.
We've got a couple more,
Yeah, we
two more right here.
When you go to church, somebody's sitting in the wrong pew, you know who they are.
Yeah. So you know,
But when they sit in the church, you know, you're sitting in the wrong pew. Yeah. You meant it too. You gotta get there early, you know, back road.
I think everyone's here, and it's 2:03 on October the 5th, and I'm going to call the RCH Water Supply Corporation Board into order. And at this time, we'll go to item number 2, public comments, and limit them to 3 minutes. We appreciate it.
Sure. I'm going to go first. My name is Adrienne Balkum, and one of the things that I asked was 7 questions at the last board meeting, and Mr. Hatfield asked me to send it through email, and I did. I did send it through email, and I did not get a response at all. So I just want to keep you up to date that yes, we are sending information in. Also on the 8th, I did send another email requesting what was the action taken from executive session, and I also did not get a response. And I did see in your minutes here what the discussion was. I'm a little bit disappointed that we continue to have the agendas not written appropriately. And if I have to, I will send the emails to you so that you know what I did send, so that there was an email sent to you. Hopefully you received it. I don't know. But the email system, however you had created it or what your expectations were, basically from my standpoint, is not working. So another thing I want to mention to you is that I was at the public meeting for McLendon-Chisholm City Council where the resolution was discussed, and I am definitely at the point right now from doing a lot of research with TCEQ, PUC, and all that, and just with water service corporations, and at this point, I think it would be a good idea to be in favor of, for the city of McLendon-Chisholm to be the water supply company. So, and I appreciate y'all having the meeting. I hope that this is productive today. So, thank you.
Ron Hunt, just a couple of follow-up questions to previous meetings. One, where do we stand with North Texas Water District as far as getting that contract resolved and going forward with them? And two, where do we stand with our Rockwall contract for the interim until we get on with North Texas?
You want to come up and say something?
Anyone?
He has.
I just want to discuss a current our water line break we had. It's see if there's some way we can resolve it. I've never seen a water bill that high, so the issue's been corrected as soon as we got called from the meter reader's the one that found it. And as soon as he notified, we took immediate action and got it corrected, but we never saw a loss in pressure, so we just never knew it came until we got the bill. So I'll see if we can come to a resolution.
Any more public comments? We will address all of these to y'all. Okay, we'll go to the reading of the minutes.
Hodges called RCH Water Supply meeting to order at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, September 7th. Welcome customers to the meeting. Several people stood and made comments and voiced their concerns. Steve Hatfield read the previous minutes with a motion made by Gary Lovell, seconded by Lowell, and the motion approved. The drought contingency plan was reviewed with no action taken. Chris Cooney requested the certification from the RCH CCN area along Pullen Road for the Trilogy subdivision with respect to 754 acres located in Rockwall County. No actions taken. Dwight Lindop talked about the relocation of water line on Highway 205 pending roadway widening. No actions taken. Dwight Lindop submitted a quote for 200 remote meters for Highway 205 from AV Water Technology for $169,985.52. No actions taken. The RCH board convened into executive session, and out of that executive session, a motion was made by Steve Hatfield, seconded by Hodges, to meet with the city of McLendon-Chisholm to see if they had any interest in beginning discussions with RCH Water Supply Corporation about a possible purchase of the water system. Jack Pullen and Steve Hatfield would meet with the city administrator. Motion was made and passed. That motion passed. Steve Hatfield moved to turn the meeting. Lowell was seconded the motion.
There's no additions or any corrections to the minutes. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes presented?
What are the numbers?
I hear a second. Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Dwight, would you give us a maintenance update, please?
We didn't have the one small leak down on 205 earlier in the month. Got all our, collected our monthly bacteria samples, collected 20 lead copper samples and sent them to the labs. Collected quarterly TMH samples, the state combined, had to make them and got those taken care of. Our daily usage is up around 1.6 million per day. And then, only other thing I see is, we've got to start moving some loan services to the state right away addition, which these loan services will not be affected by the relocation of any lines. These are ones that will just have to be moved further out.
And then we have to pay for that, and then we get the money back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But we gotta pay for it up front.
Yes,
As
sir.
I understand.
As far as I know right now, that's your things right. And we still haven't got our money for the other relocation at 1139 and 549.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
What you owe right now is $445.
Well, hey, things going pretty smooth?
We've been pretty fortunate on any breaks,
Yes,
dry as it's been.
yes.
Yeah, that's the one that's $445.
Would this be appropriate time to discuss the conversation I had with TxDOT about
Yes.
about those lines? I finally got a hold of Walter. He didn't ever call me. I called him, and they want to meet virtually to discuss that. I told him that I felt that we just did not have excess cash to spend, whatever it is, $4, $5, $6 million to do this, and then wait a year and a half or 2 years to be reimbursed. He said, I can't help you with that, but I can help you set up a virtual meeting. That was 2 days ago, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So, ball's in their court. I'll let we'll go from there when they
You
contact
should talk
us.
about confirmation number, I'll need that confirmation number.
Okay.
Now, the line break, would you credit that to the swelling, to the contraction of the soil,
Not, that's just a natural thing.
not to the,
You've done such a good job of replacing the line with PVC. They do move the ground. This one was an end cap that we had a stub out for future use, and we just eased off. It could have been a little bit of that, but it's just a natural occurrence, that you have something like that happen.
I know that Steve spoke with TxDOT. I spoke with the city of Rockwall Monday and asked about the increase in water from the city of Rockwall. And Ms. Smith said it was still with the attorneys and that she would get back with me. And I left her my phone number and my email number. And that was on Monday, and I hadn't heard from her yet. But maybe I'll hear today or tomorrow. Hope so.
What is it?
When we relocate these lines, where are we gonna relocate it to? I mean, they're on the easements that acquired by RCH. Now TxDOT's taking them over. So how do we accomplish that?
But they acquire enough from the property owner where the original easement was, just to move it over into that part that the state has acquired.
So TxDOT will take care of all those problems?
Yes, and that's one thing that
No, sir, that's not a
I always dwelled on was for us to never put any lines in the right of way. Because if we had any in the right of way, we would have to be out that distance on ourselves in place of TxDOT recouping us on that. So,
And that's, the landowners they just assume that,
We don't go.
it's okay with everybody, or is it just?
well, it's just, they just move it over.
Yeah.
The acquired area includes that, right of way.
So we're not going back on private property, we're gonna stay on utility.
No, it'll be on the utility easement, it'll be on private property.
Oh, okay.
that will require in some cases to be shut down for a period of time though.
Not necessarily. It's just, if you're gonna get it all in, you have to get it tested before you move everybody over, and then, of course, at that time, you should be within an hour
What does it say?
getting, you all you gotta do is if people are on that side of the road that the line's on, then the meter, all you gotta do is take their meter and connect it to their service line. The long places like Kingsbridge where you've got to hook up some bigger lines, they've got two ways to go in. So you just shut one down and hook this one up, and you turn it on and go down to the other one and hook it up, so they'll virtually won't be out of water.
Okay. I know it's gonna require some questions out there.
Yeah, it's, you've pretty well got it lined out where it should be minimum, anything should be just minimum to, as far as not having service for all, and it won't be, even if it does, it's gonna be less than a couple of hours.
Good.
That's something, major probably happens, you never can tell, but it should be just an easy transition.
Okay.
Those that come under 205, though, they're gonna wind up, the new connection will be on top of the old lines that we have to take out, right?
Now, the loan services, you're probably, what I'm talking about, is you probably want to redo both of them because it's gonna be so far across there. You need to upgrade them from a 1 inch to a 2 inch. So you get that water, because you're looking at somewhere between 80 and 100 feet now, compared to like 60 feet.
Yeah.
So it's just that further over there, so you need to get the volume on over to the people, to the meter. The other stuff, is, I don't think there'd be any problem.
That's quite a few boards though under.
Yeah, and the boards deal is going, and I don't think you're gonna get your money back on them after I think about it, because you're right in the state property to start with, and you're gonna have to redo them at your expense, because you're already in the state
Get on
property.
that, yes.
So the little ones are not gonna be too bad. The big lines, the 8 inch or 12 inch or whatever you have, as long as it's deep enough where they're coming through, then all you got to do is extend it. You don't have to replace the whole bill. So in certain cases, if it's, if it's deep enough and they're not coming through with some big culvert or anything, then you just want to have the expense of extending it from where it ends now to the new line. So, you can't say without them telling you, once the engineer draws our plans and sends them to the state will look at them and say, okay, this one needs to be a little bit more, or this one's okay, or they're all okay other than this one. So then until you get the state stamp that everything's okay, you can't move forward with it. Because there's no use spending a lot of money out there when you don't know if it's okay with the state. But you're going in the state regulated right away now.
Yeah.
So there's not
But all those boards, and if we're gonna have to finance those ourselves, then that'll be a really good little chunk of change, won't it?
you're looking at about 10, I think, just off the top of my head, I figured it was like 10 different loan service boards that you're going to be affected by.
Yeah.
Just for a house, service house. So you're looking at 10, and it's going right around 10, 12, 5, somewhere in there to redo all those.
So another 100,000 plus.
Right.
You're gonna have to come to the office, like I said, you're gonna have to come to the office.
So they're all on the maintenance update.
Guess I got questions, I guess I don't know if we need to,
State Highway
talk about making a motion to go ahead and get started on those loan services, or table it, or what you want to do.
I
Well,
think
that's all, a problem with text on or somebody, you jump ahead.
Well, like I said, we're not gonna do any of them except for the ones that's in service now that the line's not gonna be affected by.
Oh, okay.
So if you gotta move the line, you probably have to do them now. But if the line's gonna stay in place and you just gotta move this meter another 30 feet,
Now,
toward the house, then that's the ones I'm talking about.
oh, okay.
yeah.
Good idea.
So, but until you get the line relocated on some of them, then you don't do those. So you get relocated, that way you know exactly where you need to go.
Yeah.
But where the line's gonna stay in place, then you can move some of those.
Yeah.
At least we get that much done ahead of time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good idea.
Do I hear a motion to do
I'll
that?
make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we proceed on moving the lines, extending the lines that are already in service there.
It's not gonna be affected by.
Yeah, not gonna be affected by the right-of-way acquisition. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now then on our drought contingency plan.
I got something I'd like to say on this, and I like everybody else too. But, Jack spoke with the city manager of Lovell before, I don't know how long this has been going on, an extended period of time, that their legal department, or their engineering department has had the contract that we requested that would also give us more water that we need down here. And we have not received anything today, right now, for that. The big problem we have, the primary reason that we're in this stage 4 drought condition is because we are still, everybody still wants to water their yards. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but I mean, that's just a fact. And we're only getting so much water on that end down there. We don't have anywhere else to go to get that water. And we have been trying to do that and have yet not been able to achieve that.
Yeah, what's the address of the property?
My fear is if we change, if we go out of the stage 4 in our drought contingency plan, that the same thing may happen that happened back in July when we ran out of water. I hate to see that happen.
Well, we know we're gonna get rain because the state fair is here.
Well, another thing that we could look at it again in 30 days because we're getting close to the frost date in November, and then they're talking about some more rain. And whenever we get the rain, the usage goes down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
You can go online and look at it, it's saying it's
It always rains at the state fair, never fails.
What,
Yes,
just this week, what's been our daily usage more or less? No.
That's pretty close to 1.6, a little over 1.6.
yeah,
And our contract is 2.1, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
That's cutting it pretty close.
Well, the kicker is it can be a 300,000 gallon swing in 24 hours.
just sit it in.
Well, it's big like that. So if you open it up and you go to 1.6 and you go to 1.9, you're really cutting it close. So, like I said, there's, of course, when it rains, we got down to 600,000.
629,000.
And then, but as soon as it started drying out a little bit, when I went back up, to 1.6 million.
It's $1,600,000 plus today.
So it didn't take long. Like I said, we had a 300,000 gallon jump in one night, a couple of weeks ago. So, it's got back up there, people's watering. We're not going out there and really enforcing anything on these people. You can, but, you be out there every day. And we appreciate the people that don't water.
You bet.
Let those people that do water, they get more water than their bills high. So, But we did have enough people in the system that when we did go to stage 4, that they cut their watering down, and it helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
So we got some good folks out there that do, you know, they do what you kind of ask them to do, and that's the good thing.
So when y'all talk to Rock, they didn't give any reason or timetable or anything to get back in touch with us?
I left my phone number, my email address, and just asked her just to give me she said she would give me a call or email me just as soon as she found something out. And, you know, this has been going on quite several, since 2019. And, but you can't go up there beating on the desk and everything, got to try to work with them the best we can. And hopefully they'll get something done. Okay, we'll move on down. Does anybody else have anything on the drought contingency plan that need to discuss? We move on down to executive session. Does anyone have anything that needs to be brought to the executive session?
I'd just say what we slated for executive session, I prefer let's just talk about that here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll forego the executive session. Okay, let's discuss the triology compensation for release of the CCN over there. Don't they have some type of, whenever you release a CCN, they'll go in and appraise that of what the water companies would have lost? So, I think we need.
How can I help you? Yes, sir.
So
Yeah, there's an email.
I think that we would need to speak with Eddie on this
Just help that.
and proceed forward with coming to an agreement with Triology.
Okay, what would you think if we,
How can I help you?
if we accepted their proposal here and that it was accepted with the stipulation that that our compensation would be agreed upon
Yes.
or executed.
Yeah,
That way they can go ahead and get started on this.
I agree with that, but I still think that we need to consult with Eddie on that and
And/or
yeah.
Yes, sir. We got
Will I have a motion to do that? T, you'll have to abstain.
I'm gonna-
I'm gonna, if we express our agreement to do it based on the compensation to be determined.
I hear a second.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded that we proceed with the selling of the CCN to Triology, and we'll consult with Eddie also on this about the purchase price. If there's no other discussion, you ready for question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Was it informative press?
Okay, Steve Hatfield and I, we met with the city a couple of weeks ago, and we're in the process of getting an agreement worked out with the city of McLendon-Chisholm for the transfer of RCH to McLendon-Chisholm.
Okay. All right, we'll take care of it.
Can I elaborate on that meeting, Jeff?
Yeah.
I just like, there was somewhat of a misunderstanding but it's nothing that can't be overcome. We thought we were just waiting for an MOU, when in actuality, we got a transfer agreement via email. But I think I personally think time has come for this to happen. And there are a lot of questions. We have not consulted with an attorney on this as of yet. We don't know what the implications are, possibly with the Internal Revenue Service, or exactly how this would happen. We do have a very, very broad scoped transfer agreement that a well-respected water attorney has drawn up for the city of McLendon-Chisholm that they've sent to us. But we really know very little about what's going to happen, how this is going to happen, and anything else. So I think, where we're at today would be to send that agreement to our attorney, ask him to look at it, and to come back to us and tell us exactly what we can and can't do, and to make any changes or modifications to that agreement. But I think that has to happen in my mind, before we can make any kind of a vote on this as to action. Plus, we have to know, we have to make sure we're covering everything correctly. But I guess, another question I want to ask is the board in agreement about doing this? Because we haven't had a chance to discuss this as a board since we talked about going over and speaking with the city last meeting.
I'm cloudy. I'm in full agreement. I think it's time.
I do too. I think for the overall benefit of all of the customers of RCH that are outside of the city, and for the people that are in the city, I think it's time for it to be transferred over to McLendon-Chisholm.
Part of my thinking on this, and we have discussed this, is that with the costs of the improvements that RCH is fixing to have to take on to go to North Texas. When we look at that cost, and then we look at the possibility of the city of McLendon-Chisholm becoming, if you will, a competitor of RCH in the water business, and when that happens, they would probably pick up a majority of the customers that RCH has. So that would put, I think, a very unreasonable burden on the rest of the folks on the system. And
You
so,
get some out, but you get, we couldn't run the system.
we can't make the dollars work. Not, you know, I think you're exactly right, Warren, the time is coming.
I think it is a financial decision. It's not something that I would have liked to have seen, but where we are today, you know, we can't, there's things that we just cannot control. And I think just from a purely financial standpoint, it's a responsible thing to do.
This is beginning to clear up a little bit, but I mean, I need to hear more.
I'm scared to death of RCH having to spend $20 million to tie on North Texas and build a water tower and put everything in, and like Steve says, we lose half our customers. At least $20 million that we're borrowing to do this, somebody's gotta make payments on it.
That's true.
And the fewer meters we wind up having, it's very easy. Good. If things stay the way they are, this $25 monthly fee that we've got now, that could go to $200 very easily, just to service the debt. And then you gotta buy the water. So we're talking about lots of zeros.
So the downside then would be what? Any downside?
Not that I
I
see.
don't see any downside to it.
Okay. You're clearing it up pretty fast.
The,
Lose my job.
Well,
Lose my job. I lose my job.
the,
do that.
Well, you still,
the,
Well,
that's the downside.
we gotta keep faith for you.
Yeah.
the important
Well, we
thing
got a
is,
job.
you know,
We could fit you in somewhere.
there's another real important thing that dawned on me the other day. If we do a transfer, as it appears, if it is just a transfer of assets into the city of McLendon-Chisholm, I can't imagine how much money that will save the citizens of McLendon-Chisholm from having to go out and start their own water system. It'd be a huge, huge asset. At possibly little or no cost for the taxpayer. But with that being said, and the motion I'd like to make,
Okay,
I'd like to move that we forward the documents titled Water System Asset Transfer Agreement prepared by Miss Emily Rogers for the city of McLendon-Chisholm to RCH's legal counsel for review and counsel.
do I hear a second? There's no other, any other discussion on it? If not,
Yes, ma'am.
all those in favor of the motion to send the transfer agreement that Ms. Rogers drew up to our legal counsel, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Can we identify some other water supply corporation that has gone through this same process recently? And maybe have a conversation with them as to how they did it and what pitfalls they found that maybe we can avoid?
Well, I'm sure that Art has been down this road, and he'll know all of the things that we need to address and to look at and everything.
Sure this happened before.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but for me to tell you one
Yeah.
that I know of that's happened. I couldn't tell you of one today, but I know that there's been several of them. I just know there've been a lot of them falling into this same. You take up in Collin County especially.
Yeah.
Well, we can't afford to make a mistake, I know that.
Yeah. And if somebody else identified a pitfall we can avoid, that would be,
And this
talk to
guy
somebody with some experience.
is very, very, very important. And I know we gotta do something with him.
There's no other discussion, we'll move on our agenda. I think we discussed relocation of water lines along 205, and we did meet with Tex Dot. You met with asked Tex Dot back whenever we put the new big line in. You know, we knew they were gonna expand, and we asked them at that time about where they wanted us to do the line, and they just said, put it back in your original easement.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
So we was trying to save the state some money, but they didn't. They just told us to put it back in where.
Yeah. But, you know, as long as we don't have any plans drawn up, there's nothing we can do but
Yeah.
do it until that happens. Because you don't want to put it out for bids, and you don't want to put it out there until the state approves it. Then if you do that, then it's gonna be on your number.
Yeah.
So you can't do nothing until they put their little stamp of approval on
Did we have some pressure checking going on not long ago?
Yes, sir, we had, the state come out and repressure tested, High Point Ranch.
Do we know the result?
No, sir.
Oh, must be okay then.
That's what you kinda get, because the last time it happened down there, I got the phone call the next day.
That's what I was thinking. If it's bad, you hear about it.
So, as far as I know right now, everything checked out as far as everything else, but, you know, I can't tell you what she got on her pressure data. Yet. They haven't received anything on it.
The last test, okay.
The what?
The last water test, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't had a problem with what test.
Yeah.
No, we had absolutely no problem with it.
Presumably,
Just volume.
Yeah. A volume from my boy, really, kind of got us in. Anyway, we need to address this option on that bill.
Any,
Yeah, we need.
big deal.
Yeah, it is addressed.
Do we want to do that right now? Talk to this gentleman about his bill.
Yeah.
Sir,
Sir.
this
I
is
need
a
to
little,
get you.
little out of normal, but I mean, you want to tell us your name and what,
Yes, sir.
and the amount of the bill?
So this is Kelsey Barnes, I'm Jamie Barnes. And our bill was $5,500, a little bit more than that. Our normal bill in the summer at the highest is about $90. We don't have a pool, don't have a sprinkler, anything like that. We have about a quarter mile of pipeline, line, whatever,
Water line.
from the meter to our house. We put the meter was put in where y'all requested it. When we had that big rainfall, about 8.5 inches, our line goes underneath the creek, and it cracked right underneath that creek. That creek was overflowing. We didn't know we had a leak. We have low pressure normally anyways. It's just my husband and I in the house. And So we don't notice with one bathroom going all the time, not all the time, but when we take showers. So we were just hoping that there was something that y'all could help us do. It's $5,500, wow. We didn't even know we had a leak. The meter reader guy called us and told us we had a leak. Because the creek still had a whole bunch of water in it.
That's a drought thing.
How big's that line?
So we, off the meter, we have it's a 1 inch meter, and we're feeding we have a 2 inch that comes off the meter to our house.
Okay.
After the copper
Yeah, but the, under the creek, it's 1 inch?
it's 2 inch. After the 10 foot or 8 foot 1 inch copper we had to put after the meter, then it goes 2 inch all the way to our house, and then to our main. What do you call it?
Box.
We have a box, and then it goes, because they wouldn't do it into the house, so we have a 1 inch going into the house from there, but it's literally 20 feet from that.
2 inch line run a lot of water quick, and wouldn't take a lot of days.
We went down to a 1 inch,
That's where it leaks, 2 inch.
what leaked to the 2 inch.
Under the creek.
What's that?
It leaks under the creek.
It goes under the creek, yes, sir.
And that's 2 inch.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And that was our fourth 8 foot.
What do you think broke the line? Was it the flow of water?
It's that separation. I mean,
But the water that rushed down the creek might have done it, or just?
I just think it's the contraction of the land draws the pots far.
Is it Baley spigot? Yeah, it's where you have a rubber ring and you stick
Yes,
it on
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so possibility when you run it down through there, that it get down good, and it start coming up a little bit, and that's when it starts separating.
Yes, sir.
Is the creek dry now?
It is now.
Was the land exposed?
No, sir.
It was still underground?
Yes, sir.
You're Mr. Bond.
Yes, sir.
I know that our attorney's always told us, and we have to treat everybody the same. When people have had a break, like a month ago or 2 months ago, we have to treat everyone the same. And I feel for you. Just like I said, we have a policy and we have to stay with it.
So there is, Swan is doing some research, and the other surrounding cities that is, they're all around us, they have a leak policy. So they have, and it varies. It varies on the city. Anywhere from, hey, we'll allow, granted you have to present your circumstances and actions that were taken to correct the issue, but they'll allow anywhere from every 12 months to 2 years. And then they base it on anywhere from 6 months to a 1 year period of usage to say, is this really a legitimate leak, or is this somebody intentionally, trying to work the system? So, is that something that RCH could incorporate into? I mean, this is one of them. I mean, this is a pretty bad drought we've had in a long, long time. So, I mean, I've never seen a pipe separate like that. So,
Seems like it not all do it one time, can you?
Do what?
You make it not all do it one time.
I think that's a good idea. We could make a policy if it's a certain amount or more, we could
changing anything we need to change.
Is there some amount that you could pay on a monthly basis, but what, I guess what they're saying is the fee will have to be paid, but we could maybe make some type of installment payments for you over a period of time.
Yep. Do that.
You know, and let me elaborate on this a little bit more. As RCH is right now, everybody that owns a meter is a member of it. And so we have to look at, we don't have any stockholders that receive dividends. Nobody receives anything out of this at all, no compensation except the people that work here. But, so we can't just give away everybody else's costs.
I agree.
Is what we're saying here.
This is easy policy and overhead. I think that we could make, that's not giving them anything, that's just making them still pay, but it's just doing an installment or something like that.
Maybe if you just let us know
Yeah.
what you could do above your normal water bill, and we'll just extend it out. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there's a limit to what we can do.
I agree.
You don't have to tell us that.
Okay,
You don't-
thank you.
You don't have to tell us that right now. I wish we could do more, but we're just kind of in a bad position to do that.
Same thing happened to my son. It was a little over 5. But he had to dig deep.
Does anyone have anything else on the board?
Got some information I'd like to share with y'all.
Okay.
This is not the information I'm fixing to share with you is not a financial report. As you know, we've, because of COVID and just other things, we're in line to receive an audited financial statement for 2021. We'll start that in January. We received a list of documents from the CPA. Telling us what we need to get together for them. They'll start on that. But I sat down with Robin before this meeting over our bank statements. We have accounts, largest account looks like this is with American National. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 accounts. And the balance in those accounts, we're at approximately $6.5 million in the bank. Our liabilities, we don't have all of that in right now, which means we don't have our current water bill from Lovell. There's some outstanding engineering fees and legal fees that are out there. Probably, we'd say that we're looking around probably $350,000 there. Round numbers, payables.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak with Robin. And I can take it in and remember you and all that.
Thought y'all needed to know exactly, more or less where we are. We had no long-term debt.
And what was your last name?
We do have, we pay
Is
for
concerning what they have?
some help with meter reading, water sampling, and section samples, probably somewhere around 60,000 a year for that.
Okay.
Robin
I'll never give you a call back.
and Dwight, their salaries are running around $136,000 a year. So that's just kind of round numbers where we are. You know, even though we had that cash in say that I don't think the two way that RCH can afford to those lines. I think we need to move forward with the text doc, that they need to be prepared to pay that. But I'll also say that may never come about because depending upon how fast things move on this agreement with Rockwell, McLendon-Chisholm. From what I read in those documents, you know, there will come a time when we can no longer incur, if we move ahead with this, there will be a point in time where we cannot incur any more additional costs or anything like that without there being involved. I had that, I wanted to know that, so I'm sure. Okay.
It used to be a lot of money.
Sure did. And by the way, it still is.
Anybody have anything else? If no other items need to be addressed, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Here's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.